Welcome back, Seth Trimble. North Carolina nearly lets a golden opportunity slip through their fingers, but they pull it out in the end. Are you breathing? I don't know that I'm breathing yet.
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Saturday, December 20th, 2025. Welcome into this live postcast edition of the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, where we're trying to figure out if we just had a heart attack or not. Oh my goodness. I'm your host, Isaac Shade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Network, now the #1 Locked Sports Podcast Network there is. Thanks for joining us live post-game. It's great to be together. For those of you watching or listening back later, welcome into you all as well. Shouts to our everydayers, the Everydayers Club members, all the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course our insiders as well. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Woo! I thought the Tar Heels were cooked. Carolina comes back to win 71-70. They are now 11-1 on the season with one non-con game to go on Monday against ECU. This is the Tar Heels' third quad one victory of the season. Yes, before Christmas. Hard to believe when you think to other seasons recently where Carolina's like, can we get one? Can we get one? A lot of that, though, is pending where Ohio State moves in tomorrow's net rankings. Today, they were 47th. You need them to stay top 50 for this to be a quad one win. But as of today, the Tar Heels have 3 of them. This is the 12th annual CBS Sports Classic. The Tar Heels have the best record in the event at 8-4, have never lost to Ohio State. They're now 4-0. Of course, each of the last 2 have been heart pounders. There was the Pete Nance shot to send it to overtime a couple years ago at Madison Square Garden. And then this, holy cow, this. As things stand right now, Ken Pom has updated. The Tar Heels are still 22nd. All that said, it was nearly a therapy session for us today, but instead, it's a party. And guess what? I don't care if you win by 1 or 97 points. It's a W in the scorebook, and that's what matters, is getting that W. So here's what we're going to do. If you're new to our live postcast, we'll unpack the game. We'll look at nitty-gritty stuff. We'll look at big picture stuff. We'll take your questions and comments, so make sure you're dropping those in the chat, and we'll get to those later in the show. All right, obviously, the only thing that could stop talking about Seth Trimble's return would be a crazy basketball game, and that's what happened. So we'll get to Seth in just a second. There is a world in which I would love to have started by talking about Carolina getting up by 11 and then blowing the doors off this thing, winning by 15. There's also a world in which I could start by talking about, man, you guys, Carolina, what are they doing? They were up 11 and they choked it away. They still won, but boy, that was ugly. Instead, I want to talk about how Carolina, yes, built that 11-point lead, nearly choked it away, and could have folded in and been done. But they were resilient. They did the things that a veteran elite team needs to do to win a basketball game, and that's what happened. So let's remember this. Carolina led by 11 points with 9.5 minutes to go. They had not trailed since 8 minutes left in the first half. They were down 15-16 and had not trailed since. And then all of a sudden, Ohio State had chipped into this lead, and John Mobley hits this ridiculous deep 3, late shot clock, had to get it up, totally get that. And you heard the whistle blow, Caleb Wilson fouls him. So now Carolina, instead of forcing a late shot clock shot that goes missing, getting a rebound and going back the other way with about 45 seconds left, up 1, a chance to salt the game away, Carolina now finds themselves, after the free throw, down 3 with 48 ticks to go. And here's the thing for me. It would have been so easy right then and there to give in, to go down and try to shoot a 3 on the other end to tie it up, to make immature plays, to be selfish, whatever it was. Instead, Carolina showed the moxie of a team that knew what they needed to do. They had enough time to go down and get a 2. Seth Trimble gets a ball that just thankfully rolls in. So Carolina now down 1, 69-70 with 33 seconds left. And so the question becomes, are they going to foul? Are they going to try to play this thing out? Honestly, my thought was you got to try for the steal. There's enough time for that. But then when they get it into the front court, then you got to foul. That was my expectation, Carolina down 1, because the difference in the shot and game clock was just 3 seconds. That's not enough time. Carolina applies full court pressure. And man, I thought a 10-second violation was coming, but Carolina got Ohio State all out of sorts. They throw the ball up. Jaron Stevenson, playing center field, is able to chase it down Willie Mays style, grab it. Carolina gets it back into the front court, calls timeout with 18 seconds to go. Already, they've done that's like Dean Smith level team right there. They get the necessary 2 instead of settling for 3, and then get the steal to have a shot. Now Carolina has the ball down 1 with the ball in their hands and a chance to win the basketball game. And it seemed, oh my goodness, Seth gets into the lane. I'm still debating pass or just lost the ball. I think it was a little bit of both. He was like falling down, and so just kind of shoved it, bounce pass. Henri Veesaar picks it up and is able to slide through for the dunk, his 3rd of the game. Carolina now leads with 7 seconds left. They're up 1. And I'm saying to the people around me, too much time, too much time, too much time. Ohio State gets it into the front court, timeout, 4.4 seconds left. And you know what's coming. It's going to be a Bruce Thornton shot. How much have we talked about him this week leading up into this game? Carolina had forced it out of his hands in the possession before. And again, here, Ohio State's not able to get it to him for the winning shot. And look, that is a massive win in my book. Ohio State has to settle for another deep John Mobley 3. I can live with that. He just hit that other deep one. If you're going to give me 2 deep Ohio State 3s for a chance to win, I can live with that. He would have had to have hit 2 ridiculous shots to knock off the Tar Heels. Of course, he hit the first one, but didn't hit the second one. Although I don't know about you, but that ball hit back rim, and I thought it was just going to roll and slide in. It did not. Of course, the way this game went, Ohio State gets the offensive rebound, and Caleb Wilson and Henri Veesaar are both there to block the tip. I think it was actually Caleb that got his hands on it for that final block, appropriately so, right? And so my big take here is, yes, you would have loved to have run away with it, or you would have loved to have not even let Ohio State get back and take the lead. But neither of those things happened. But instead of giving up, giving in, and becoming immature, like remember down the stretch of the Michigan State game, that's what happened. Carolina was taken out of what they were trying to do and never found that resolve again. Now, there was some of that, Carolina unable to maintain their lead, but they did what they needed to do at the end. And that, to me, was massive. And so now we're sitting here 11-1 and saying, all right, BDCU, and you finished the non-con schedule 12-1. I don't care what just happened this afternoon. You won the basketball game, and that's critical. There's plenty of time, and we'll talk about it on Monday, how to fix those things that happen down the stretch. All right, now we got to get to Seth Trimble. The big question, obviously, we found out on Friday, Seth Trimble is going to play in this basketball game. My assumption was that Carolina would not start him. They did. And not only did they start him, Seth Trimble played 36 minutes in this basketball game. He is a dude. Seth Trimble, welcome back. Now, Jaron Stevenson, the odd man out. I think a lot of people assumed it would be Luka, maybe even Kyan Evans. But interestingly enough, this starting lineup of Kyan Evans, Luka Bogovac, Seth Trimble, Henri Veesaar, and Caleb Wilson was the starting 5 that I had talked about all offseason long. But it was the first time we got it. Let's remember, even the first 2 games when Seth started, Luka was just getting back, and so he didn't start either of those games. Jaron Stevenson started the Central Arkansas game and the Kansas game to start the season. So this was the first time this 5 had started together. And look, I know some people are upset about Jaron being the one going to the bench. I know you lose some size, but here's the deal. What this means, and I talked about it this week, is that now, instead of Zayden High being your first big off the bench and or James Brown, who had done it the past couple games, now it's Jaron Stevenson. And while he's not like essentially a true 5, him being your third big in the rotation and allowing the three to be, basically Luka / Jonathan Powell, that is different, because unless I missed it, let me look at the box score. Carolina went 9 deep, and none of those were Zayden High or James Brown. And like, hate to say it, but that makes Carolina better with how those guys have been playing. That's been the big Achilles heel for this team, was the backup 5 minutes. And they've bounced back and forth between Brown and High, and neither of them have been able to grab that backup role. And so for me, this is a win. Now Jaren Stevenson is your big coming off the bench, and that is massive. So for Seth, I mean, the things he did in this basketball game were more than I could have ever dreamed for his return, right? Like I expect, and then there was some rust. There were moments where he looked winded, still getting his game legs back. But Seth finishes with 17 points, 6 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. Looked great. Had good arc on those, 2 of 3 at the free throw line, finished off at least 1 and 1, 2 rebounds, had 3 assists and 1 turnover. And that's the other side of getting Seth back, is that not only do you have the defense, not only do you have the aggression, you have a guy that can be a playmaker and get the ball to teammates. You saw his aggressiveness immediately on display. On Carolina's first possession, he pushes the tempo, is able to get the ball to Henri Veesaar for a dunk. He gets another shot on the second possession. It didn't go in, but I love Seth not hesitating. Even on about 17 minutes left, there was a run out, 17, yes, of the second half. Seth gets a bit of a run out. He isn't able to hit it, but because of his aggressiveness and intensity and the attention that he draws, Caleb was able to clean it up with a putback dunk. There is so much that changes for Carolina now, getting Seth back into the lineup. We had talked about, I mentioned this on Twitter before the game started, how his return affects what Carolina is doing from a fast break standpoint. Let me see if I can yes. In the 2 games that Seth played earlier this season, Carolina averaged 20 fast break points a game and got 22% of their total points from fast break points. In the 9 games without Seth, they got 9.2 fast break points per game and got 12% of their total points from fast breaks. In this one, they got 8 in the first half. I think they only finished with 10. So Ohio State was able to slow Carolina down. Let me make sure. Yeah, 10. It's only 2 points in the second half there. But again, still not as many fast break points in totality as you would like to see. But it was off to a much better start in the first half, and want to see more and more and more of that. But man, just Seth affects winning so much. Like, can you imagine how much Bruce Thornton would have gone off in this game without Seth on him? I mean, I don't even want to think about how different the outcome of this basketball game would have been. Here's one other thing I'll say about Jaren and the rotation now, is that while Jaren didn't start, he played starters minutes. Jaren Stevenson played the 4th most minutes in this game for the Tar Heels. So yes, he didn't start, but you saw how critical his size was on doing stuff, and had multiple like there was a rebound. He just ripped away from Ohio State, an offensive rebound, put back. He had another offensive rebound, put back. He had that crazy block on Bruce Thornton in transition. I mean, Jaren, yes, is coming off the bench, but still was a major factor in this basketball game. I just need him to hit some threes. Dude, if Jaren Stevenson was hitting threes, oh, baby, watch out. But he didn't. Okay. We've gotten all this way into it. We have not yet talked about Caleb Wilson and Henri Veesaar and how they just continue to dominate basketball games. We'll get to that coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about Wayfair. The holidays always show up faster than we expect. And if you're still putting together your gifts, I mean, gosh, you got 5 days, last minute decor, maybe getting your home ready for guests. We got some friends that just came to our house. Wayfair has got you covered. Maybe you need a quick room refresh or new bedding or those final seasonal touches. Wayfair makes it easy to get what you need fast. They are your true one-stop for everything home. Decor, furniture, kitchen essentials, and gifts for every style, every budget, all delivered quickly and easily. It's so easy to shop by style. It helps you pick pieces that actually fit your home instead of guessing. It's the perfect gift too. No massive delivery fees, no stress. The best way to get your home holiday ready all in one place. So go ahead and get those last minute holiday essentials, gifts for all your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. Again, that's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right, everybody, as we come back, let me go ahead and get the box score pulled up for those of you watching so you don't have to bounce back and forth. Of course, I had forgotten to load it in here, but that's all right. Here we go. I'm getting it pulled up right now. All right, there you go. You see it. If you're watching, if you're not watching, if you're listening back later, that's all right. You can go find it on my Twitter feed. North Carolina's front court. This was Caleb Wilson's homecoming. This is, Henri Veesaar needing to step up against another 7-footer. He hasn't had to deal with much of that. And there was also, you might not have seen this, but Caleb Wilson had talked about how Carolina should dominate Ohio State. They didn't, although they had Carolina pulled away and Ohio State just kept reeling them back in. Carolina was the better team in this basketball game. But the thing for me was, I was like, all right, Caleb Wilson, you going to talk that talk. You better darn well be better backing it up. And for the first 10 minutes of this basketball game, I was like, hey, Caleb, you want to score some points today? What's going to happen? Because you ain't doing it. Now, that said, Caleb was a dude on the boards, even in the first half. Through the first, I think he finally scored somewhere a little bit after the 10-minute mark of the first half, but he did have 8 points. But what I do love is that he wasn't forcing it, right? That I would rather have him sit, because Carolina's winning this basketball game with Caleb Wilson not getting anything at that point. When it was all said and done in the first half, Caleb finished off with just 4 points, but he had 7 boards, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, and a block in 16 minutes. Can totally live with that. But then the second half, it became Caleb Wilson's show. He led Carolina in scoring in the game in the second half, had 16, 7 of 11 from the field, wildly efficient. How many shots did he take in the first half? Yeah, 2 of 5. So again, he was not forcing it, wasn't pushing it, but finishes the second half, 16 points in that half, 8 rebounds, 4 of which were offensive, had 2 more blocks, including the game-sealing block at the end. So all told, Caleb Wilson finishes with 20 points and a career-high 15 rebounds. Carolina's played 12 games. He has a 20-10 double-double in 5 of those. He's gotten to 20 points in 8 of Carolina's basketball games. It is absurd what Caleb Wilson is doing, and I never want to lose sight of that. What a great, great, great homecoming for him. Henri Veesaar, 17 points, 10 rebounds, got his own double-double. I keep telling you guys, it's some game this season. Both these dudes are going to have 20-10 double-doubles. They've come so close so many times and haven't yet got there. But here's what I love that Henri Veesaar did in this game. He led Carolina with 5 assists, multiple of which were to Caleb Wilson, right? There was the alley-oop from the top of the key. I mean, just really, really good from Henri. Again, 5 assists, 2 turnovers to lead Carolina in assists. We'll say more about the assists in a second, by the way. But also was 2 of 5 from 3. He continues to, the way he pulling other bigs out, but being able to finish inside, it's so good. Henri had his own block as well. Henri stays above 40% from beyond the arc on the season. We talked about, would the totality of Caleb and Henry's points and rebounds combined be over their season average of 55? Well, Caleb had 20 and 15, so that's 35. Henri had 17 and 10, so that's 27. What is 35 plus 27? I mean, I'll tell you right now, that's over 60, 62. So yeah, they get up above their season combined points and rebounds. That is massive. Let's talk about Carolina's defense as we talk about those 4 combined blocks between those 2 guys. I don't know that we can say enough about how good Carolina's defense was. And again, so important to get Seth Trimble back for this game. Carolina has held all 12 of their opponents under 75 points. And then one of the big conversations coming into this game was the strength on strength of Ohio State's 2-point shooting, which was 63.1%, 5th in the nation. That's so good. But Carolina, on the other hand, as you know, because we talk about it all the time, was only allowing opponents to shoot 40.6% on 2s, which was 3rd in the nation. So the thing I would talk about is if, 50, like 1.5% would basically be the midpoint. You want to just drag Ohio State south of not only that 51.5%, but like south of 50%. I said, if Carolina could do that, I would be happy. Even if, it didn't necessarily have to be 41, 42%. Even if it was 47, 48%, I could live with it. In the first half, Carolina holds Ohio State to 42% from 2. They were better in the second half, 54% before the game. Ohio State, 48.8%. And for a team that shoots 63%, that's basically 14 percentage points lower than they shoot from inside the arc this season. And oh, by the way, while you're holding them to 4 of 20 from beyond the arc, which is 20%, that adds up to, you wish it had been a bigger win, but Carolina did enough both inside and outside the arc to hold down Ohio State. That's great stuff. As to Bruce Thornton, when you look at the final tally, he had 16 points. And just shot, Devin Royal led Ohio State, and he was really good in this game. Props to him, man. I was really impressed. But Bruce Thornton, yes, he had 16 points, but needed 16 shots to get there. Was 0 of 4 from 3. This dude came into the game shooting 50% from beyond the arc. Didn't make a single one of them, and only got to the free throw line 3 times and missed the front end of a 1-on-1, of a 1-and-1, the one that he missed. So all told, I thought Carolina did a nice job on Bruce Thornton, despite the fact that he started to affect the game more. And critically, they held him down in the first half where he was 3 of 8, had just 6 points. So in the second half, he must have been much better. Yeah, 4 of 8, 10 points. Really good. And what else was he able to do? 4 assists, no turnovers, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 4 boards. So he filled it out in other ways. But again, Carolina did what they needed to do to hold. And Bruce Thornton, 21 points a game. That's really impressive. The Carolina defense continues to be really like the eye test. They passed it in this game too. Maybe they haven't passed that as much all season long, but in this particular game, I really thought they did. I said that I want to talk about assists again. Carolina made 28 field goals in this basketball game. They assisted on 22 of them. You guys, 22 assists on 28 baskets. That means, let me get to my assist numbers. 22, 28. That's 78.6%. I don't know this for sure. I'm going to have to go back and look through it. I'll have it ready for Mondays. I got to imagine that is the highest assist percentage of the Hubert Davis era. But Carolina in each of the last 3 games has been 66% or better on assist percentages. It's crazy what they're doing, the way they share the basketball. Again, led by Henri Veesaar in this game. Really important stuff and a great way to win this basketball game. On the not so good side of things was free throws. Carolina nearly cost themselves at the free throw line. Meanwhile, Ohio State was 16 of 19. That was one of my 4 corners preview points, was you can't let Ohio State beat you at the free throw line, and they did. 16 of 19. Meanwhile, Carolina was 7 of 13. For the first time in his Carolina career, Caleb Wilson does not make 5 free throws. If you make 10 of 13, if you make 3 more free throws, you're not having to sweat out the end of this basketball game. Carolina is struggling at the free throw line. That is their biggest Achilles heel, although 3-point percentage is right there with it. Carolina was under 30% in this game, although much closer to 30% than was Ohio State. Let me say another couple quick things. We'll take a break and then get to a few questions from you all. Carolina bench, again, with Jaren Stevenson going to the bench, that helps so much. Carolina led bench points in this game 15-0. That's massive. Rebounds. You look at it and you see that it was tied at 39. You're like, I would have liked to have won the rebound battle. But when you dig into the numbers, you need to catch this. Ohio State led the offensive rebound battle 13-12. But what matters is not just getting the offensive rebounds, but then what you do with it. Carolina scored 14 second chance points to just 7 for Ohio State. So Carolina was able to clean things up even when Ohio State got those O-Rebs. They doubled them up. Last thing, and then we'll take another break. Turnovers. We've been talking about how, and Ohio State's not a team that forces a bunch of turnovers, but Carolina had committed single-digit turnovers in 4 of their last 5 games. That was so critical against ETSU, and that was going to help Carolina as they got ready for Ohio State. Once again, single-digit turnovers in this game, just 7, 4 in the first half, 3 in the second, meaning Carolina has single-digit turnovers in 5 of their last 6 games. Again, another reason getting Seth Trimble back is so critically important. The front court was what dominated this game outside of Seth Trimble. Not a ton from the backcourt. That's a little issue. Kai Evans, the only player to not score that played for Carolina in this game. He plays 16 minutes. Luka only played 13, only had 2 points. Really interesting there. So we'll continue to keep tabs on kind of the changing personnel as Seth comes back into the mix. Curious to see what happens Monday night as ECU comes to the Dean Dome to wrap non-conference play. All right, guys, we want to get to your comments and questions, and that's where we're headed right here in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel, NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you actually get to react to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best, quite frankly, when the game starts to shift and change. A receiver gets hot, or there's a massive turnover that affects the game. Oh my goodness, Miami. How about that interception? Wow. Crazy stuff earlier today. The live spreads and money lines adjust instantly at FanDuel. The player props update as that guy gets hot. You can bet who's going to be the next touchdown scorer or how this drive is going to wind up. As you look at some lines, make sure you get ready for Carolina's line against ECU on Monday, or after that, it's all ACC play. Carolina right now, for some reason, is 5th in the regular season ACC odds at FanDuel. Golden opportunity for you if you think Carolina can win the regular season. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. As we come back, I want to thank you for making Locked On Tar Heels your first listen or watch of the day, and for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network out there. And you guys, if you haven't looked into the brand new Everydayers Club, great opportunity for you. There's 2 tiers of ways you can get involved. Would love to see it. Man, all sorts of great stuff from all sorts of great people right here. Knights Say Knee says, UNC just couldn't put them away, but that full court press and steal was huge. And you, sir, are absolutely correct. I mean, we've seen, because of Carolina's size and length, I wish we would see more of this. I would love to see more full court pressure. I would love to see more trapping. Now, I guess part of it, quite frankly, is that the defense is doing enough on its own, even in half court or slowing down transition or whatever it is, that they don't necessarily need to. And so that is a great sign, and I'm really encouraged by it. The Creator Classroom says, no therapy session today. You, ma'am, are absolutely right. But I tell you all, I had come to terms with the fact after that 4-point play that it was going to be a therapy session, but it was not. Knights Say Knee says, I did not expect that from Trimble on his first game back. Nor did I. It's so encouraging that, the rumors are that Seth has essentially been cleared and ready for like a week, but you got to make sure. I tell you, he took that one fall. You saw him kind of reach for his left wrist, but they said on the broadcast, if you're listening, that he went over, gave a thumbs up. It was, I think, really just the way he landed on his wrist, because they taped that, wrapped it around his thumb, which gives some of that wrist stability, and then he was ready to go with it. Derek Tyson says, Isaac, if you're Hubert Davis, are you keeping Luka and Evans in the starting lineup, or maybe just taking one of them out? This is a great question. This is one sample size, one data point, I guess I'll say, with this starting lineup. Obviously, the combination of Kai Evans, Luka Bogovac had a grand total of 2 points in this basketball game. But I don't think you mess with it yet. You got ECU coming to town. That's one of the, on paper, worst teams you'll play all season. And again, you saw the players that played the 5 most minutes in this basketball game were Seth Trimble, Henri Veesaar, Caleb Wilson, Jaron Stevenson, and Derek Dixon. And that's interesting because, again, as we always say, obviously all our conversations are always about the top 5. But it's also about, the starting 5, but then it's ultimately about who finishes it. No. And in this game, it was those guys. When we got to the final possession, if I remember correctly, Jonathan Powell was out there. Henri had 4 fouls late, and so there's just interesting combination. What did Jonathan Powell do in this game? I haven't looked at that. Jonathan Powell got 3 points, had that 3-pointer, played 15 minutes, which was probably 7th on the team, I believe, just behind Kyan Evans. Yep. 1 rebound, 1 assist, no turnovers. Love that. And so JP just out here doing it. Who led plus minus? Henri Veesaar did. Henri Veesaar, he's so good. I absolutely love it. One more from Derek Tyson here. He says, the thing that bothers me most right now with this team is letting it fly from 3 and free throw shooting. That being said, I'm ecstatic with our record. Yeah. That's the good thing to me is the record is what it is at 11-1. And yet Carolina is shooting so poorly from 3 and free. What I wish Carolina would be a little more discerning with is who's getting those up. But the thing is with those 3-pointers, Henri Veesaar needs to be taken. There was a couple times I wished he had pulled that he didn't tonight. I know he took 5 of them. There was at least 2 that I was like, pull it, man. You're knocking them down at a 40% clip. Let's see it. Luka, 0 of 3 in this game. Would really like to see Luka get going from 3, Kyan get going from 3. There's just a lot there. And man, it's tough. It's so tough. T-Man says, just checking, Isaac. Was that TV Teddy out there in black and white? Great win with the laughing emoji. It was not TV Teddy. But I tell you, there were multiple times where a whistle went uncalled that in my opinion, should have been. I thought Seth got bumped a couple times in weird ways that should have been called. Jaren Stevenson was having his arm held one time. There just multiple times. And obviously it cuts both ways. I'm sure there's some that I'm seeing with Carolina blue glasses that I didn't see in the Ohio State side of it, but man, whatever. We'll certainly take it. And so there's this, man. Okay, guys, I know there's a lot more to go. But gosh, what a win. Just elated with the result. Maybe not elated with how things go, but the defense steps up again. And because of that, even in a game where Carolina shoots 7 of 13 from the free throw line, even in a game where they shoot 29.6% from 3, they were 44% from the field in total. Gosh, what was their 2-point percentage? It must have been great. 63 minus 27, 36, 28. Okay. 20 divided by 36. Oh my gosh. Carolina shot 55%, 55.5% from 2. Got to get the ball inside more. I just don't know what else to say there. But really encouraging. Carolina gets the win. And even still, there's a lot to go back to the drawing board and fix. And that's the win. All right. So quick turnaround. It's like one of those Saturday Big Monday situations. ECU coming to the Dean Dome on Monday night. And Carolina, last non-conference game. You expect them to win that. And then for the first time since the 08-09 season, the Tar Heels will have 1 or fewer losses in non-con play. That is massive. 3 quad 1 wins right now. We'll talk about it on Monday. But I love that this game was not about inclusion in the NCAA tournament. It was about your seeding in the NCAA tournament. And so Carolina continues to put themselves in a top 4 seed scenario, not just in the ACC tournament, but in the NCAA tournament. And that is great. All right, you guys, if you've not subscribed to the show on video and audio, do it right now so that you don't miss a second of Locked On Tar Heels. If you're still putting comments in the chat, I'll see if I can go grab some of those for Monday's show. Hopefully I still can do that. If you want to check out the brand new Everydayers Club, man, I would love to see you as part of it. That link is in the show notes. If you've not joined the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, that link is also in the show notes. You guys, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel, even on days where we have heart attacks, but it's okay because ultimately it is a dub in Atlanta. Talk to you on Monday, but until then, peace.